got a story to tell. But first, let's get something warm to drink. Inside now, and we'll take you on our little journey that we've embarked upon. Don't know how long you've been with us on our channel, but this is a horse story, and it starts in March of this year. It actually starts a few years ago, but really it began in March. We officially decided to get into horses, and the reason being is because Daphne, our one and only girl in this family, has been horse crazy since she was about 2, and even prior to moving out here. She was about 2 years old when we moved out here on our farm, and so since she could really talk and express herself, she began loving to watch horses and, pictures and all that sort of thing, like, a lot of horse crazy little girls do. So we had said that she needed to be at least 9 years old. We've been on our farm since we moved in December of 2010. And we're now January of 2019. Just had our 8-year mark on our 100-year-old farm. There you go. But at any rate, we'd said that Daphne needed to be 9 years old. We thought that would be a good age for her to be able to ride, learn, handle a horse. So fast forward to March, and I had been in contact with a rescue for about 4 years. We didn't envision our first horse being a rescue horse, but that's what Dane became. I saw a video of him. It's just worked out really well. It's hard not to get choked up about it. And something just tapped me on the shoulder, and, call it what you like, but I figured he was the one. So you can go back and watch that video. We'll probably link it somewhere up here, and show introducing Dane. Dane just, he just was a really good fit for us. We loved having Dane, and about 6 months into it, we decided we were ready to add horse number 2. So with that entered Rhino. So that one, we've only done one video, so for all of you wondering what happened to Rhino, where's the story of Rhino, this is it, and another one. We took a chance again with the same rescue. We had such a good experience with Dane, even though he was really sick. We nursed him back to health. And with Rhino, what they do for each individual horse that becomes available for adoption is they take a short little clip and they tell you what they know. Sometimes the information is right. Sometimes the information, is just in that instance. We had quite the journey with getting him home. He reared going into the trailer. Trailering was not a good experience. It was a rushed situation. We got him in. We had to pull over on the side of the road because he was bucking in the trailer. Get home, and Dane saw the trailer and he was super excited. And so they started whinnying and neighing back and forth to each other. We pull in, ready to back it up to the pasture, let him out, and he decides to let himself out. So we had a 2-stall straight load trailer and with a divider in place, and he turned himself around. Yes, we're first timers. We didn't have him tied in. That's another little tidbit. Turned himself around and jumped out head first. Able to catch him right away, still had the halter on, put him in the pasture, and he ripped it up, felt good for a while until he realized the stupid decision that he'd made and the nice gash he was wearing on his front leg. So we fixed his wounds, worked with him, kept him in quarantine for 2 weeks, because when you pull them off of that situation, if they've been there for a while, chances are they're going to get the nasty kill pin, kennel cough, snot nose like Dane had, and he had started that, so we treated him and kept him quarantined. So you'll get to see what Rhino and Dane's first meeting was. They were able to see each other, smell each other, hear each other. They liked keeping each other in their sights while they were in separate pastures. So the first meet and greet is interesting. It was funny, a little scary, lots of nerve-wracking, yeah, we'll show you what that looks like. So enter Rhino, and we wanted Dane to have a buddy, but we were also ready to have another horse around that we could ride. We were looking for an easy beginner horse for all of us to enjoy and ride. And given the information that we had at the time, that an older lady had owned him and done trail rides, that sounded like a fit. We were starting to see some things that didn't add up to all of that, but you know, it's a rescue situation, and we forged ahead with that. So we put the two of them in, and it was they became buddies. It was okay, but Rhino quickly became the boss. And what we figured out is that Rhino was about 12 years of age. Dane is 4. Dane is still what we would call green broke. He had probably been broke fast and hard enough to just get the job done, get a saddle on him to ride. But he really doesn't know cues, legs, neck rating, anything like that yet. So he is a project. So our second one, we didn't want another project. And as we started watching and kind of figuring out, we in fact had another project. But Rhino was being bossy. The two of them got along fine, Dane and Rhino. But Rhino was not very confident, not comfortable in his surroundings. Dane has been here for 6 months, so even though he's young, about 4 to 5 years old is what they say, he, is pretty comfortable with our farm and what's going on, and might startle, but not really spook. Well, Rhino would spook, and he would, bolt at a moment's notice, and it was making us uncomfortable, and also uncomfortable that we couldn't really, not necessarily not let the kids in the pen, but I definitely didn't want our 4-year-old son going into the pen with the two of them. Didn't trust the situation. So Rhino was starting to rub off on Dane. And since he was being young and impressionable, and Rhino starting to spook and just not being confident with his surroundings, we noticed a change, with the behavior with Dane. And all the while, with Rhino's bossiness and our inexperience, we were starting to rethink the situation and what were we to do to figure it out. We were okay with our first project, but not okay with the second project. So what we can say now in our current situation is, definitely take a chance on rescue horses. They're so worth it. Rhino, even with his personality and, not having the confidence or being bossy, still is a great horse. Our trainer absolutely loves him. He's got personality, he's cute, and he is very smart. He catches on quickly. Through all of this, I forgot to mention that we are pretty sure, we don't have any, papers for it, but pretty sure that he's half Arabian is what we were told, and we're pretty sure the other half is quarter horse. I know that a lot of people tend to kind of cross those two breeds. So there's another little piece to the puzzle where he's just a more spirited horse, very smart, and yeah, just really for us, with his lack of confidence and quite frankly our lack of confidence, just decided that it wasn't the right fit, the right situation. So what we've done is we have entered in a new horse, as you saw in the beginning, Mr. Binks.
Do you think Dane knows we brought somebody home?
This is a situation that we should have done. So as we all learn and go through our journey and tell you, shoulda, coulda, woulda, well, we always chalk it up and just say, we'll share it. There's a reason for everything. We can go through it so that maybe somebody else doesn't have to. We should have stopped and really had like our horse trainer be the one to help guide us in horse number 2. Horse number 2 shouldn't have been a rescue. It should have been one that we looked at several and tried them out to find the right fit, because not only did we need a beginner horse for our family, but we needed a role model for Dane, and a horse that is pretty easygoing and comfortable in his skin. And that's exactly what we have with Binks. Binks is a quarter horse. He started out as a barrel racer and a ranch horse, and he ended up with our trainer as a lesson horse. So she's had him for about 5 years, doing lessons with, kids, adults. And as we listed Rhino for sale, and we had lots of lookers, but nobody really willing to commit. And it's because we were being totally honest. We didn't try to pull the wool over anybody's eyes and say, hey, this is a great horse and he knows all this. No, we absolutely said we saved him from a rescue. We don't know what he can do. We never rode him. We didn't feel comfortable riding him. And so I sat on him lead rope one time. What we did was eventually is we had our trainer come out, and she rode him and evaluated him and found out that in fact somebody had spent a lot of time neck reining with him but hadn't really finished him out with leg cues, and we think he probably just sat as a pasture pet for quite a while and got fat and spoiled, and with his personality just kind of got what he wanted. So wasn't the fit for us. So as we talked with her more, she was going to be moving Binks on and in the spring and looking for another lesson horse. And so there you have it. We basically kind of swapped horses, and she will finish Rhino out and turn him into the, fabulous smart horse that he can be, and that, part of what he already is. But just move him on with somebody that probably knows, the Arabian spirit a little bit more and has been a horse owner for years. So with this journey, we now have our family horse, and the weather has been terrible. We have only had him for a week, a little over a week now, and it's rained, and you just saw some snow and cold frigid stuff, and so we haven't been able to really enjoy the riding, but we did get to look at and make a decision between two horses, and he was the one that we ended up going with. We got to, ride him around, and he neck reins very well. What you may notice, or you've already noticed, is that he's actually missing his left eye. But for him, with his confidence level and what he has done and known, it's absolutely, not an issue with him. And he's got the personality plus. So, because for us, with all of, most all of our animals, even if they're, farm animals and have a job, we like to have that relationship with them and continue that on. And, we're just animal people and like to love on our animals. So as you watch this video, we're going to do, and or have already done, some outtakes of the differences. And I don't know if it's some foreshadowing, but the difference between the temperament in the two just really speaks volumes for what Rhino was for us and what Binks will now be. The kicking up the heels and the, spunkiness and zipping around when Dane and Rhino first met. Oh my gosh, in some ways it was a little scary. But Dane hadn't seen another horse for about 6 months. And we don't know. Maybe Rhino was an only horse too. And so he got thrown in with the kill horses, and then he got ripped away and got to see another one. But the difference with Binks, same thing, being about, 12 to 15 years old. I'll have to remember exactly. Somewhere in that age range. They're both in the same age range, Rhino and Binks, but Binks just been there, done that, been loaded and unloaded in a trailer a lot of times, doing the barrel racing scene, and with unloading him, just easy peasy. And he saw Dane, but whatever, it's no big deal. So it has been about a year now that we have been horse owners, and now owner of horses. We are looking forward to all that it brings and where our journey will go with this. But really looking forward to this spring and summer and getting to ride and just enjoy them and seeing how Binks can be a good role model for Dane and also for us as we begin this journey. So just surround yourself with knowledgeable people, whatever you're getting started with. YouTube is a great way to access things, but having the relationship with other people to encourage you and help you along, or make that phone call, when you need to. We've enjoyed helping others with getting started with chickens and goats, and feeling like we have enough knowledge to help somebody out, but this horse thing is all new. So we thank you for coming along on this journey with us, and we hope to show you many more updates and videos this spring and summer with riding, and no more snow and rain. A little bit's okay, but we're anxious. We're anxious now. So thanks for sharing this time with us, and we'll keep you updated.